Hello guys! Last time we were here, we had just spoke with Pura and Jasha about what to do next. They said I should get some rest and talk to this fellow down here in the middle of Lookout Landing. But there's also that star fragment out there, and I'm really interested in getting it. So I think we're going to just hop aboard my trusty steed, Bree, and see if we can find it. We'll come back to Lookout Landing, talk to the fellow we haven't met before at the center, and then see what happens. This is my second playthrough, for anyone who was wondering. I haven't finished the game on my first playthrough, but I've been really itching to actually play the game and share it with everyone. So here we are. And there were some things I have done in my first playthrough I wish I could go back and have redone in a different order. The first time around, I didn't do the main quest in the order that the game had in mind. And that's okay, but I really wanted to also experience it the way they had intended. Huh, since we're over here, we should go ahead and activate the shrine. We'll use the travel gate later to get back to it to do it. Susuyai Shrine. Susuyai? I'll go with that. There isn't a travel gate in Lookout Landing itself. Monsters might be lurking about these parts. This is where there used to be the ancient Sheikah Tower of Breath of the Wild. Crazy to see it not there. Hey, Korok. We'll be back for you later. Yes. Oh, it's so cool to get this, like, the second day in Hyrule. Oh, there's another. I really want to activate it too. It's also difficult to tell how far away things are. Okay, so it looks like... yeah, it's just here. Of course we're going to activate it. I know Pura wanted me to get some rest, but this is what rest feels like to Link. He just doesn't know how to quit. The Mayachin... Mayachin? Hello, sir. Huh. Addison? I didn't know he would be here. We hadn't run into him before, have we? Huh. How exactly do you help the guy here? So, you help Addison hold up the sign so he can let go. But usually you've got to use materials. And I don't see any materials here. We'll have to come back to that later. I think Bree is getting along with us a lot better now. Go ahead and see if we can find some ore in here. Good find. I really love it that in Pro mode, the Pro HUD mode, that you don't see a thing unless it's absolutely relevant. Hello! Oh, the captain and his squad. They're heading into a fight over there at that particular camp. Oh, guys, don't have all the fun without me. Drop a pin there in case we want to come back to that after we do what Purah wanted us to do at Lookout Landing. And, I mean, I actually really want to do that because that's one of the things in my first playthrough that I haven't actually experienced. In all the things that I've come across, I've never actually been around the militia when they were going to do a fight. So I haven't experienced it yet. I've probably done more than 50% of the game in the first playthrough, but there's still so much left. Like, I've hardly done anything in the depths. And I've done maybe 50% of the Sky Island material. And I've probably done 50% of everything there is on the Sky Islands, which still leaves a whole lot considering how much there is. Spicy peppers. You know what those are good for, right, Bree? Don't feed them to your horse. Okay, girl, here's where I get off. And see what the man wants up here in the middle of Lookout Landing. Link! Glad to have you back, Link. My name is Scorpis. I have been charged with managing Lookout Landing. If you have any questions about the place, any at all, come right to me. I will answer as best as I can. Now please, allow me to open up the emergency shelter. Dramatic fade to black. Hey, it's me! Open up! The Triforce descends. Maybe that means something symbolically. This emergency vault used to be an emergency shelter for the royal family. Now we're making constant use of it. Feel free to make yourself at home in our vault. Use any equipment you want. Thank you, Scorpis. Emergency shelter. And there's the research team. And over here we got the cook. Over here we got the armory repair guy. Looks like he's working on one of the knight's helmets. Over here we've got the strategists, military officers, trying to make sense of what's going on the map. The representation of Hyrule makes a lot of sense. Got a statue. Oh, the cots. Oh, no, these aren't cots. These are pretty good looking beds. They use rolls. You have like a rolled up blanket for a pillow. Those guys look tired. Nothing in particular there. Wonder if anything happens there later. Look at all this dust. Hey, I know that face. And any face I know is a face of a friend. Please, Link, help yourself to anything in this shelter. It's all yours to use as you see fit. So Jerrin is Robbie's wife. We remember meeting her up at his tech lab in Breath of the Wild. But don't you dare go making a mess of this place and kicking up dust. I spend so much time cleaning in here, and there's still endless amounts of dust. Where does all this dust even come from anyway? Sorry, I can't help you with that, Jerrin. I can save the world, but I do not understand where dust comes from. Who do we have here? He looks like a guy from Garini. Yeah, we met him. We helped him out to do a shrine quest in Breath of the Wild. So you're Link, huh? Some of the soldiers were just telling me. As a simple man from Lorelyn, I'm a little starstruck. We don't see a lot of celebrities back home. Okay, so it doesn't confirm or deny that Garini knows who I am, just that we never told him who we were and how important we were in Breath of the Wild. We actually did the quest together. We got into the shrine. He was able to get pictures from the Sheikah slate and use those to make a translation of text on the ancient monument. And that was his preoccupation, but he maybe never actually got to know who was the guy who helped him out with that particular translation issue. So Garini knew me, but he didn't know who I really was. And I can ask him about Lorelin, his town. Lorelin Village. It's a fishing town in eastern Necluda, far to the southeast. And again, this doesn't really confirm or deny whether he thinks we honestly don't know what Lorelin Village is. It just means that because we asked him how's Lorelin doing, but we had a very open-ended question, that he didn't know how to answer the question, so he thought he would just tell us about the town. It's telling first-time players who skipped Breath of the Wild what to expect and learn about Lorelin Village. And at the same time, I could understand why Garini would assume we didn't know much about Lorelin Village if we asked him, you know, in this context. Like, it's not that we don't know what Lorelin is, but if he's used to seeing the faces that come and go from town and Link hasn't been there very much or at all that he has seen in the last many years, it's understandable why he would be telling Link like he doesn't even know about it. Used to be a popular resort thanks to its sandy white beaches and gorgeous views of the sparkling sea. Then we got attacked by pirates. Now no one's living there, let alone running the shops. But listen to me getting all gloomy. There is an upside. If not for the pirates, my wife and I wouldn't have come here. I should just shut my trap and enjoy the charms of Lookout Landing. Beds? You believe that? In my village, you couldn't find these anywhere but at the inn. Beds are pretty awesome, Garini. Okay. Monte. Link, welcome, welcome. Okay, so he immediately recognized us. And I don't recognize him from Breath of the Wild. I'm wondering if he's a character that knew Link in the in-between years. Call me Monte. Okay, so he knew who I was by what I looked like, but I don't know him. So he's seen me around, but we haven't actually talked. You will find me employed as the gatekeeper of this fine establishment. This is the emergency shelter where all are welcome. Please, stay as long as you like. Okay, what are you doing here? He already told us. He's the gatekeeper. Goodbye.
Hi.
Watch your footing when using the ladder. If only one could go straight through the ceiling rather than using a tiresome ladder. But I digress. Well, actually, I could. So we got the cook. What is he up to? Healthy cooking? Hey, are you new here? You may scoff, but I know a fresh face when I see one. Yeah, okay, so Burmano does not know us. I can see that because I'm a newcomer too. My name's Burmano, and they've put me in charge of cooking for some reason. I want to say something fancy like, for today's menu we have a fruit and mushroom mix that will rev you right up. Yeah, I was really looking forward to saying that, but I'm plumb out of apples. If I don't have my most important ingredient, say goodbye to rich, full flavor. My nose is detecting an aroma, a sweet, tangy, pleasant aroma. Could it be? Do you have an apple? Here, take this, banana, mo. Wow, you're really generous. I'm giving you first crack at some grub. Hold a sec. He's pretty excited about fruit and mushroom mix. I'm calling it Burmano's Special Fruit and Mushroom Mix. Looks tasty, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I mean, all the dishes look incredible, but I'm wondering, is that like a truffle, pear, slice of citrus fruit? Oh, it really looks good. Even a blueberry, but I'd skip the mushrooms. I like to make a big deal out of it, but anyone can make it. All you need is an apple, a mushroom, and a pot. You should try making some. So Burmano, that's a tongue twister. He doesn't know us. Clearly, because, you know, he was getting really excited about telling us about fruit and mushroom mix. So he wasn't from Lookout Landing, but wherever he was from, maybe a traveler? Alright, what's in the newspaper today? Kiimo. Today in the Lucky Clover Gazette, mysterious shrines appear all over the world overnight. Shrines appear everywhere due to the shifts caused by the upheaval. With Purah as their leader, the Zonai survey team begins thorough investigations the world over. Guess the paper is a little old. Okay, Kiimo. Find another issue. Wortsworth. It's the same Hyrulean script, and yet it's so different from our modern language. I still have a lot to learn. Don't tell me. Based on your stature, physique, and distinctive right arm, you must be Link. Am I right? Purah has told me so much about you. So Wortsworth, probably not from town, never saw me in person. I'm Wortsworth. My research specialty is ancient Hyrulean. And by ancient Hyrulean, I don't mean the text found in the ring ruins, but something different. It's what we call the language used at the time of Hyrule's founding. Our modern language is built on that foundation. These books are all written in that ancient tongue. They look like gibberish to our average Hyrulean. Are you curious about ancient Hyrulean? I don't have anything to show you as things stand now, but I'm sure I'll someday have results posted and ready for all to see at the lab in Kakariko Village. Oh, cool. So that's a quest to look into for sure. Okay. Who do we have here? Sila. Remnants from the Zonai civilizations have started popping up all over. Looks like she might be reading the Lucky Clover Gazette as well. This calls for the Zonai survey team. Well, it should call for that, but instead they've got me hanging out here until further notice. I even spent loads of hours memorizing everything in the Zonai survey team book over there. Guess the best thing to do now is to stay on top of the news in each region so I'm even more prepared when the call comes. Freezing temperatures bring feathery shivers to Rito. The Rito are all over the newspaper lately. They live out in the Hebrew region, if I recall. It's in the snowfields of northwest Hyrule. Some surveyors grouse about going there because of how cold it is, when all they need to do is bring proper gear and supplies for cold resistance, and go to the Rito Inn to sleep on a luxurious fluffy down bed. I know it's important to be on the standby here, but I wish they'd send me out on a survey already. Funny, she didn't even look up to see us, and so she never actually identified who was listening to her. Okay, anybody else? Link, right? Deon. You really are that Link guy, aren't you? I heard folks talking about you, and your face matches the one on the poster. Oh, sorry. You wanted a bed, yeah? You can go ahead and take whatever empty bed you like. Nap and sleep talking is particularly audible here, so you probably want a bed a little farther from him. His physical condition has been deteriorating ever since he investigated one of the chasms. That's despite how long he's been back, which has been quite a while. He still hasn't made much of a recovery. You're welcome to rest or use any of the resources you see here. Purvis made it the standard policy that anyone who needs shelter here has it. She says it's what Zelda would want. Fantastic. Wonder if we end up helping this guy get better, too. Using Sunday Lions or something. So we already met Gralens. He was helping out the training of the militia. Hello, and thank you for your hard work, Link. I appreciate you taking the time to visit the Monster Control HQ. Recently, Purra asked that we suspend our involvement in the search for Princess Zelda. So we've resumed our primary mission to hunt down the monsters that have been running rampant since the upheaval. All 3 squads are out on expeditions at the moment. They've been sharing updates with us though. Squads on expeditions, Hawes' squad, Torin's squad, and Flexel's squad of the Monster Control crew are taking down monsters all across Hyrule. Cool. So we can then ask him, maybe he'll point us in the right direction. Hawes' squad is hunting monsters in Hyrule Field, to the south of Lookout Landing. If you see them there, do me a favor and help them out, please. Want to know the whereabouts of any other squads? Well, we will ask him later when we have the chance to actually deal with it. If you ever stumble into one of our squads during your travels, please lend your legendary skills to our plight. Cool. Too bad Gralens can't see some of the action himself, because he's stationed here. Atmus. Oh, it's you, Link. Pardon me for being lost in my work here. This map tends to get all my attention. So I suppose Atmus does know us? Are you interested in the different peoples of Hyrule and where they live? That's my entire field of study. When I'm out on a deployment with the Monster Control crew, I spend hours poring over our maps. As such, I'm the most knowledgeable in Lookout Landing about Hyrule's various peoples and their towns and villages. Its various peoples? Aside from us Hylians, there are 4 other peoples here in Hyrule. The Rito, the Gorons, the Zora, and the Gerudo. Each live in a different area and have their own unique traits, whether it's soaring the sky or feasting on rocks. We Hylians also live in villages that reflect our unique cultures. The Sheikah are renowned for their wisdom. In fact, our most prolific researchers are among them. The leader of Lookout Landing, Purra, is from the Sheikah tribe. Alright, then towns and villages? Hyrule has 8 major places that its various peoples call home. Why we needed to move, I don't know. Lookout Landing is located here in central Hyrule. Up northwest of here, there's Rito Village in Hebra. Then there's Gerudo Town, that's located to the southwest in the Gerudo region. You'll find Goron City to the northeast in Eldon. Travel a bit farther east and you'll come across Terrytown in Alcala. Not too far from there is Zora's Domain, that's within the Lanayru region. Continuing into southeast Hyrule, you'll come across the cluster of Hylian villages. These are within an area called Necluda. Within that cluster, you'll find Kakariko Village, where the Sheikah live. I hear the village leader is quite lovely. If you're seeking a tranquil spot, Hateno Village is worth a visit. I also hear it's become Hyrule's center of fashion. Finally, there's Lurelin Village. It's a wonderful getaway destination. Many of the aforementioned towns and villages have been deeply affected by the upheaval. I would say actually just about all of them. And he didn't mention anything about the 3 trees scribbled over the Great Hyrule Forest. If removing even a fraction of the monsters helps soothe the peoples of Hyrule, then that's what we'll do. Our monster control crew is on patrol each day, gathering information from everyone, everywhere. So what about Atmus? I work with a monster control crew. We're tasked with protecting everyone from monsters. Okay, so he's basically saying what I think he said at the beginning. There's been an uptick in their populations since the upheaval, but I'm not really the most skilled in combat. So instead, I use my knowledge of the areas to help determine where we should make deployments. Alright, so goodbye. There's been an increase in the number of unfamiliar monsters since the upheaval as well. Be careful out there. Yeah, so it is a curious thing to see all these kinds of monsters that just showed up out of the thin air for no apparent reason. Okay, we got 2 weapons. It looks like this is like a Bocoblin's horn attached to one of these travelers' swords. Wonder how they were able to create it themselves, though. They don't have the power of Raru's right arm. So, if I look at my weapon selection, I'm good for the time being. I might come back and get one of these later. And we have this last person to see what he's about. Kosi. Oh, hey, is that you, Link? I've been nose down, so I don't know what's happening around me half the time. So it seems like this guy, Kosi, may actually remember us from the past, and even though we're celebrity to others, he's just pretty chill around us because he already knows us really well. This is pretty involved, so I'm going to keep sitting here while I wrench on this. You might have heard, but when the upheaval happened, all of the weapons decayed. I've poured so much energy into trying to fix them, but it's been of no use. Decayed? Yeah. Just before the upheaval, gloom began pouring out of the ground. It's clung to the weapons, pulsing as if alive. We watched as the weapons rotted into pieces right before our eyes. It was all pretty wild, and I don't understand how it happened. At a time when Hyrule Castle can float, I'm giving up on trying to make sense of most things. Oh yeah, in case nobody has mentioned yet, you're welcome to the weapons over there. Though they probably won't be much use to you, since they're, you guessed it, decayed. Kosi. Alright, so a familiar face among them. Nice to know that Kosi and what's her name? Was Garini. Garini knew us, but didn't know who we were. And then we had Jerrin, who does know us by heart, and actually is familiar with us. Monte had seen us, but Link hadn't necessarily met Monte. So, we can always use Ascend. Pop back up. And as long as we're not too close to Scorpis, we won't freak him out. So thank you for joining me on this very detailed tour and meeting of all the faces here inside the emergency shelter for this episode. Next time we'll talk to some of the people that are on that are above ground, and we will get to the tower. God bless you all. I'll see you next time. Cheers.